Welcome to Redeeming Thunder. My name is Erica, and I'm here to give you this second part of the prophetic warning, the urgent prophetic word given by Yahuwah on 10/16/2024. The prophetic word given was Wa Za'ak Basa Masi. And that translation from Hebrew to English is: the Anointed One must step forward, step into the gap, and cry out in prayer to the point of wearing rags, just like when Mordecai went out into the street and was wearing rags and crying out for the Israelites, to the level of when the Israelites were crying out to Yahuwah, who were slaves of the Egyptians, crying out for rescue. To that level, we need to cry out and worship in the temple. And you would think, what is the temple? Which temple? We are the temple. We are the holy temple. And he needs to hear the righteous, anointed pray in this hour. This is the second part to the vision of urgent prophetic word of we are in the 11th hour, part 1. This is part 2. And the vision begins with, I am physically in pain, and I close my eyes, and I am given the Rhema word of pray against this. I heard him say, pray against this. And I knew immediately that he was either going to continue to speak, or Yahuwah was going to show me, the Most High was going to show me what was occurring in the heavens. Okay? Remember, it is on earth as it is in heaven. So if it's in heaven, it's going to happen on earth. And this particular situation you do not want to happen on earth. Okay? So if he's saying to pray against it, that means there's an if. But if my people pray, if they get on their knees in prostration and step in the gap, there's a chance that it will not happen. Okay? So that's why I'm asking for us, righteous ones, to step in the gap to pray for the world. Not for a city, not for a state, not for one country, but for the entire world. Okay? I am sounding the alarm that this is an emergency. We are in the 11th hour. When it strikes 12, that is when Yahuwah strikes. And we do not want his ferocious anger to fall upon the earth. So yes, there's a chance. Now this is the the vision that I received 2 days after the other vision regarding the duck and the bucket and the little pond, the lovely pond that was and now no longer is. Okay, so the vision after the warning where he says pray against it, I am lifted up. Suddenly I am lifted up, and I am in the second heaven. I know this because I am seeing the galaxy. And I am looking down into the earth. And I see a train, a block train that is racing towards earth. And it's swirling downwards from the top and down into what I see looking further down is earth. And the interesting part about it is that I saw these wispy beings that were flying right next to it, right beside the train, this black train. And they were wispy angels, what I could think that they were. And they were flying along with, swirling down and around, and they were getting closer and closer to earth. And when that was happening, I felt like that train is not something good. It is not something of a baraka, a blessing. It is something that is destruction. And suddenly the scene changes, and Yahuwah takes me back to the scene of the prior dream that I had regarding the duck and the bucket. And I'm talking to the clerk, who now I know is an angel, and he is impersonating a regular person, and he is helping me in that moment. I'm telling you this because if you watch the first part of this, you will learn that he assisted me. Okay? And I'll give you a little bit of a summary of what occurred in that, for part 1 of the 11th hour. He's stating about the bucket. All there was, there's no lovely pond with lily pads. All there was murky, what looked like moss, that was total black moss. And then he said there was only a little bit of green patch. And there was no duckling. And then suddenly I'm taken back, and I am looking at the earth, and the earth is blackened now. The majority of it is blackened. Only a little piece of land, like about this much, was green. And there was light on it. Light beaming on it. And from that moment, it was a analogy of the first dream, was an analogy of what's going on with the entire earth. Yahuwah was showing me that it's just like in the times of Noah, where the majority of the earth was darkness, was evil, and only a little bit was good and pure and sanctified and righteous and holy nation. And in that moment, I recall that he wanted me to pray against it. He wanted me to pray against it. And I was trying to figure out, is this some principalities attack, or is this Yahuwah himself deciding factor of destroying earth? And in that entire time that I was receiving that vision, I was praying in the Spirit. And so I want to go back with the prophetic word that he stated, Wat Za'ak Pasa Masi. And what that means, I gave the interpretation. What that means, okay, in a minute. Which I gave interpretation, or excuse me, the translation, excuse me. Wat means temple. Za'ak means to cry out. Like you're in rags. You're praying and not ceasing. Okay? You're showing physical. You're not wearing any makeup. You're wearing just the most basic, the most raggedy outfit you could think of, and you're on your knees and you're praying and you're pleading and you're stepping in the gap. Marching on is basa. That's the word. You march on. You step in the gap for those, for everyone, for the entire world. Masi means the anointed ones. And as I keep praying in spirit, now I'm praying harder. Now in that moment, I'm realizing this is like a tremendous disaster that could possibly happen to the entire earth. This is a severe warning. Okay? And I know that we're in the 11th hour because he connected this vision with that dream. And then I began to see, as I'm still up high watching, and I continue to pray, he's showing me proof that when a righteous person prays, you can move mountains. But not just mountains. He's showing me that you can move his heart. You can kindle the heart of the Most High to have mercy on the entire world. And he knows in that word pasa, it gives verses that state that he knows that the righteous have sinned. He knows that we're not perfect. But he does not give wrath. He does not give plagues. He does not harden his heart to those that are righteous, even though we deserve it. Because you know who paid the price? It was Yahusha who paid the price. So he's saying, if you would step in the gap, if you would pray and plead for the cases of the others, he's comparing it to the times of Noah. Okay? And the plagues are of weather, storms, blizzards, all types of weather storms. Okay? That is the wrath. And there's another video that I'm going to show you that there's portals. And he was showing me a portal and explains furthermore on part 1 the portal that was opened. And it was a severe blizzard storm with slippery slope, and people are in the slippery slope. You have to decide. You have to not be too close to that slope, because you could slide all the way down and ruin the chances forever. Okay? And I'm saying forever because this vision goes on. And this vision goes on. And so I continue to pray in the Spirit. And I start to see as this train is spiraling closer and closer to earth, these angels, these wispy angels are now, they're like pulling these cabooses. It's a really long train, and they're pulling the black train, and they're tearing it apart, trying to stop the train from destroying the entire earth. Okay? And they're yanking it apart, and they're pulling the caboose, and they're holding it. One angel in itself was holding an entire caboose and flying it all the way really far into the galaxy, into the abyss. And they were pulling another caboose and yanking it all the way until all the parts were dismantled. They dismantled it with the prayer. That means it's possible. He's showing me that it was possible to destroy the destruction that is coming. But the thing is, it's done. The train is gone. Hallelujah for that. But it didn't end. The angels then swooped down onto earth, and they went, and that little piece of land that was green was now bright light. That means that people were praying. They were intensified praying. And then there was light spreading apart, like wherever the angels were flying through, there was light on the entire earth. I didn't just see one continent. I saw all of them. They were spreading, and their light was moving out the darkness. And the entire earth was bright. And what was going on is it would look like it was disintegrating the earth into a bright white light. It was like disintegrated. And then all that was left was these twigs that looked like toothpicks from far away. And then I got a closer picture of what it was, and they were disintegrated human beings. And suddenly a portal opened up in the middle of earth, and it opened up like a wide hole, and it was red fire that was flaming outwards. And these angels were plucking these twig-like twigs, and when they were throwing them in, people were screaming. I could hear the screaming from the second heaven. That's how loud it was. And they threw them all in, and it was no holding place before. It was like they were just on earth, and they went directly to hell. Certain twigs, and they plucked each one. They were visible on earth. The entire earth was now white, like a white bright light, and just a few plucked, and those are the only ones that went in. And there were several. And then the vision ended. Part 3, I'm going to share the portals, the video that I just came across regarding how Yahuwah, and this information is from the book of Enoch, and there is somebody that explains it very well, how there's portals that open up for baraka, for blessings. Baraka in Hebrew is blessings, and there are 2 other portals beside each section north, south, east, west. And there is certain, there's a point to understanding where the gates are. And in the first video, part 1, there was a portal where he's positioning me in these visions and dreams. I'm starting to understand that's where there's a gate. And that's all I have right now. This is a journey. This is my Supernatural Diaries. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for praying. Thank you for joining and stepping in the gap and taking this seriously. And if you like and subscribe, if you haven't already, share if this is very helpful to others. And I will see you on the next video. Shalom.